Hey everyone, and welcome to Tactical Inc., your portal to the captivating realm of all things Lorcana. I'm Bradley.
And I'm Alex. Today we're continuing to discuss the top cards of Into the Inklands, and today we're going to go over the top 10 steel cards for Into the Inklands.
And some things to note. We are recording this pretty early after the release of Into the Inklands, so our minds may change as time goes on. But for now, this is our opinion on the top 10 steel cards.
Also, if you feel like there's should have been another card on this list, just let us know in the comments below.
Start off with number 10, Baboom. This is a steel action card that costs 2 and is inkable. Its effect says, deal 2 damage to chosen character or location. So, we've seen Fire the Cannons, and it costs 1 ink and is uninkable, and it deals 2 damage to a character. This one can also deal 2 damage to a location. And every location has really high willpower, so it doesn't seem like this card would be that good. However, doing a little chip damage to a location and letting a character challenge a location and banishing it, it works pretty well actually. And also it being inkable where Fire the Cannons is not, that is a pretty good deal that I'm willing to make. We probably won't see this have much play. However, there is a lot of cards with 2 or less willpower now being used in the meta, like Aggro Rush, Lilo, Making a Wish, Maleficent Monitor Time. To your shift options like Robin Hood, Beloved Outlaw, or Morph, Space Goo, or even these annoying characters that have really good effects like Kit Cloud Kicker, Tough Guy. It can just really banish a lot of cards that are early in the game.
Yeah, I think this is a good tech card that you won't use 4 copies of, but if you're running a ping damage deck, something like a Emerald Steel, you might see this in there sometimes. Another thing is it's pretty good for taking out this new Rafiki Mystical Fighter who's super annoying, as well as Captain Hook Forceful Duelist. It just can be helpful for getting rid of things, and this just goes to show how 2 willpower really is not a good place in the game anymore.
Alright, coming in at number 9 is Mickey Mouse, Trumpeter. Mickey Mouse is a steel character that costs 4 and is uninkable. He has 0 strength and 1 willpower, with 1 lore. He is a Dreamborn and hero. He has the effect called Sound the Call, and it says, exert, pay 2 ink, play a character for free. Alright, and this is one card that I thought was going to see a lot of play when I first saw it revealed. And we're really not. And it's kind of sad, but maybe in the future it will have more play. I don't know. It's just really hard to keep this thing alive before you can activate its effect. Maybe in the future, if there's something that lets you activate an effect either for free or lets you use it the first turn it's played, that's maybe when we'll see it. But as of right now, it's just too slow and it's just slowing you down. Because if you could get the effect off, get Maleficent Monsters Dragon out on turn 5 or Chernabog, either one. I mean, it could be pretty cool, but right now, just not going to see it have much play.
Yeah, when you're looking at his overall value, you have to pay 4 ink for the character himself and then another 2 ink. So if you're going to be playing anything that's 6 ink or less, it's basically not worth it. You want to be playing something of a really high ink value for this to pan out. Hopefully we'll get some things that will make him stronger, and I think at some point in this game he'll see some sort of use. So for number 8 on our list is the Map of Treasure Planet. The Map of Treasure Planet is a steel item that costs 3 ink and is inkable. It has 2 effects, the first one being Key to the Portal, which says exert this item and you pay 1 less ink for the next location that you play this turn. And the second effect is Show the Way, which says you pay 1 less ink to move your characters to a location. So this is basically like a lantern for locations. It helps you play them cheaper, and it also helps you get your characters there. The more that we see locations being played that you want to move your characters to, the more I see this being useful. It's just not that great yet, and it takes quite a bit of setup. It takes away a lot of tempo, so that you're losing time in a game that's all about keeping the tempo up.
Yeah, this is a card that I just don't think right now is ready to be a really great card. However, it definitely has the potential as more location comes out, because anytime you can make a card cost cheaper or have an effect become cheaper, like for example moving characters to a location, it really just helps you take off. And as of right now, if you do have a lot of locations on the field, it can be really hard for opponents to remove it because there's no board wipe right now for locations like there is for characters such as Be Prepared.
As of right now, maybe one of the best plays for this would be in like Steel Amethyst. Say you were to play the Queen's Castle on turn 4, go ahead and play the Map of Treasure Planet on turn 5, and then move all of the characters that you have on the field into the Queen's Castle for free so that you could start drawing cards. Something like that might make this card pretty powerful.
Coming up next is number 7, Sheriff of Nottingham, Corrupt Official. The Sheriff is a steel character that costs 4 and is uninkable. It has 2 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. It's a Dreamborn and villain, and his effect is called Taxes Should Hurt. It says, whenever you discard a card, you may deal 1 damage to a chosen opposing character. So this character is a lot of fun to play with. He goes great with a lot of steel cards that discard from your hand, such as Cinderella, Knight in Training, the new location, the Bayou, A Whole New World, the Huntsman, Reluctant Enforcer. And he's really fun to play with, but I don't think he is the best card because you have to have a deck really built around him to make him consistent and to be very useful. However, if you do get like A Whole New World with him and you play it, he can just be a board wipe, and that's so fun to watch. But as of right now, there's just not enough really to make him very impressive.
Now, if people are playing discard decks against you a lot and giving you a lot of trouble, maybe put 1 or 2 of the Sheriff into your deck and then mulligan to find him in the beginning if you know that's what you're going up against. He can be pretty helpful against discard. There's also the 1-turn kill combo between him, Beast Relentless, and the Bayou. That really hasn't panned out. It's just way too slow and way too much setup, but people were crazy about that for a little while. It's a neat idea. Maybe things like that will come out some more to make him better. So going to number 6, we have Kita, Protector of Atlantis. Kita is a steel character that costs 2 ink and is inkable. She has 2 strength and 3 willpower with 1 lore, and she has bodyguard. These stats might sound very familiar because they're exactly the same as Simba Protective Cub that everybody sees played all the time. It's really nice that we have that in steel because to have a 2 ink bodyguard, you don't have to just be paired up with Amber. It could go in other directions, such as Steel Amethyst or Steel Emerald, or just anything really. Being able to have that 2 ink bodyguard, it's a really nice option, and it definitely has a lot of payoff. It easily deserves a spot in the top 10.
She's also a very good shift option for Kita, Protector of Atlantis. She just helps you with some early game consistency with this bodyguard character.
Okay, so coming in at number 5 is the action Rise of the Titans. Rise of the Titans is a steel action that costs 3 ink and is inkable, and its effect is pretty simple. It says banish chosen location or item. So you can't sing this, you have to pay the ink straight out. That's something that I would have expected to make it not as worth it as it is. However, locations are pretty hard to get rid of, and the fact that you could also choose to get rid of an item when there's a lot of powerful items out there right now, it makes it a little bit more versatile, and this is a card that a lot of steel decks have started running. It's simple and to the point, but no longer are you going to have to waste multiple turns to get rid of that McDuck Manor or Queen's Castle. You can get rid of it right now to catch back up.
And a lot of times, I've noticed when an opponent plays locations, I want to remove it as quick as possible so they don't gain lore. And to do that, it kind of stalls my game plan because I'm not questing, I'm challenging. So using something like Rise of the Titans, it keeps me from challenging, and I still continue to quest, continue on to my game plan of winning the game, and I get to remove a location, which is great. So coming in at number 4 is MrSME, Clumsy Sailor. MrSME is a steel character that costs 2 ink and is inkable. He has 3 strength, and 3 willpower, with 2 lore. He's a Storyborn, Ally, and Pirate, with the effect name Oh Dear, Dear, Dear. His effect says, at the end of your turn, if this character is exerted and you don't have a captain character in play, deal 1 damage to this character. So there's only 4 cards with at least 3 strength and at least 3 willpower with an ink cost of 2. That being Madam M Snake, Mother Gothel, Della Duck, and this card, MrSME. Madam M, you have to have a card to bounce to your hand. Della Duck is reckless, so she always has to challenge, even if you don't want to. And Mother Gothel, she deals damage to herself, which still a 3-1 is great, but if you have healing, making it a 3-4, it's even better. But MrSME, 3-3 with 2 lore. That 2 lore can be really great. And also, if you have a captain character, say such as Captain Hook Forceful Duelist on the field already, he won't be damaging himself. So this is arguably the best 2-drop, at least with 3 strength and 3 willpower.
Yeah, and when he does damage himself, you can kind of choose that because it's only if he's exerted. So if you don't have a captain character in play, you don't have to quest or challenge with him. You can save him until you put one of your captains in. Also, it might work to your advantage to have him damaged because the most common pairing for Steel is Steel Amber, which uses Rapunzel gifted with healing all the time. So you put MrSME in, get him a little bit damaged, and then on turn 4, you could draw a couple cards with Rapunzel. He's just a very, very solid 2-ink character all around. So starting out the top 3 for Steel, we have John Silver, Greedy Treasure Seeker. John Silver is a Steel character that costs 3 ink and is inkable. He has 3 strength, 3 willpower, and 1 lore, and the effect Chart Your Own Course, which says, for each location you have in play, this character gains resist +1 and gets +1 lore. So John Silver can start to get out of hand really fast with cheap locations like the Bayou, or even the Jolly Roger. Seeing as he is a pirate character as well, he can use that ability to his advantage. When these locations add up, he's starting to get resist +2, resist +3, making him impossible to challenge and take down, and his lore starts to get amazing too. He can get up to 4 or more lore pretty easily. This character can become an absolute nightmare to deal with, and you've also got those locations in play now that the opponent's wanting to deal with. Location themes in the future are definitely going to want to use him as one of the center points. He's just really, really solid.
And I think the best thing about this card is that he doesn't even have to be at the locations to gain value. And with your locations on the board, most of them are gaining you lore, and he gains more lore for each location you have. So your opponent's going to be trying to remove so many things at once. It's just crazy that he's just 3 ink and can already be crazy by turn 3-4. And your opponent has a lot to deal with.
And one more thing, just look at all those classifications that he has under his card that oftentimes get overlooked. He is a Dreamborn, a Villain, Alien, Pirate, and Captain. And some of these can fit really nicely into different themes that you might have going on, such as the Pirate theme, like with Jolly Roger. Or say with MrSME, who requires a Captain character in play. Or even if the Villain theme ends up becoming more of a thing in the future. He can fit into a lot of different areas besides even just the locations. Alright, and for number 2 on our list, we have the action and then Along Came Zeus. This is a Steel action that costs 4 ink and is uninkable. It is a song, so a character with cost 4 or more can exert to sing it for free, and it says, deal 5 damage to chosen character or location. This is the most powerful damaging effect in one hit that we have in the game, and it can take out a lot of different things. Some of the 5-cost locations, like Motunui, are just not as powerful because of this card. Basically, all Steel decks are running this to have options against high willpower characters and locations.
And there's only around 80-some cards that have over 5 willpower. And I would argue that probably less than half of those are even playable. So that's just how powerful this card is. It can remove so many cards in the game.
Yeah, it can take out things that are really powerful like Beast Tragic Hero, Stitch Rockstar, Rapunzel Gifted with Healing, even Maui Hero to All, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. There's really so many things that he can get rid of and that's just a few. I mean, I could keep going. There's Jafar Striking Illusionist that everybody thought was going to be a major player, and this is possibly one of the reasons why he's not seeing as much play. And then along came Zeus is just a really solid check on your opponent to make sure that they can't play things that are super powerful without an answer.
And finally, coming in at number 1 is Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Robin Hood is a skill character that costs 5 ink and is inkable. He has 3 strength and 6 willpower, with 2 lore. He is a floodborn and a hero, with shift 3. He's got 2 effects. The first is called Skilled Combatant. It says, during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. And then his other effect is called The Good of Others. It says, when this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. So Robin Hood, with his stats 3-6, is already a very good card. It gets around, and then along came Zeus that we just talked about, and can be hard to remove with that high of willpower. It has good shift options with Robin Hood Beloved Outlaw and Robin Hood Capable Fighter. And he's very versatile as well, being able to gain you lore as he's challenging or even helping you draw cards, which is great. The only card that is a weakness to him really is Madame Medusa, or cards that just banish like Dragonfire or Let It Go. But other than that, he doesn't really have a weakness. He's really good stats, good effect, and you're going to be seeing a lot of him because he's arguably one of the best cards in this set.
In a game like Lorcana that's all about keeping tempo and outpacing your opponent, Robin Hood really excels because he can challenge characters to get rid of them, and at the same time he'll be gaining you lore. Also, when you shift him in on turn 3, there you go, you can go ahead and play your whole new world or grab your swords. So he's great for Steel Song. You see him in basically any steel deck right now. He's super great and easily deserves the top spot in our top 10 for Into the Inklands.
Well, that's all for today. What cards do you think we missed? Tell us in the comments below.
Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up to date on the latest Tactical Ink news. And also be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can tune in every Friday for a new episode of Tactical Ink.
We'll see you next week.